Sharks are the undisputed kings of the ocean, reigning supreme as apex predators in a world that is as vast as it is mysterious. Their presence is felt in every corner of the marine realm, from the sunlit shallows to the pitch-black depths. For over 400 million years, sharks have patrolled the world's seas, surviving mass extinctions and adapting to dramatic changes in climate and geography. Their fossil record stretches back to a time before the first trees appeared on land, making them one of the oldest surviving lineages of vertebrates. Over countless generations, they have evolved into some of the most efficient and specialized hunters on the planet. The environment they dominate is defined by one crucial ingredient: salt. The ocean's salinity, averaging about 35 parts per thousand, is not just a backdrop for their existence. It is the very medium that shapes every aspect of their biology and behavior. The vast, deep blue is their kingdom, stretching across more than 70% of the Earth's surface. In this immense and dynamic environment, sharks have developed a suite of adaptations that allow them to thrive where few others can. Every aspect of their physiology is tuned to saltwater. Their gills are designed to extract oxygen efficiently from seawater, while their kidneys and specialized rectal glands work tirelessly to maintain the delicate balance of salts and water within their bodies. This process, known as osmoregulation, is vital for their survival, allowing them to avoid dehydration in the salty sea. Sharks are built for efficiency. Their streamlined bodies reduce drag, allowing them to glide effortlessly through the water. Powerful muscles and a cartilaginous skeleton provide both strength and flexibility, enabling sudden bursts of speed and agile maneuvers during the hunt. We think of them as ocean animals, and for a very good reason. Their entire existence is intertwined with the rhythms and chemistry of the sea. Occasionally, some sharks venture close to the boundaries of their world, approaching river mouths or coastal shallows. Yet, even here, the influence of saltwater remains dominant and their bodies are still governed by the same physiological rules. But what if a great white or a tiger shark took a wrong turn and ended up in a freshwater river or a lake? The consequences are profound and immediate. You might think a shark is a shark and water is just water, but the reality is far more complex. The truth is far more shocking and far more dangerous for the shark. The difference between saltwater and freshwater is not just a matter of taste or comfort. It is a fundamental divide that can mean life or death. The difference between saltwater and freshwater is like the difference between night and day for these animals. The osmotic pressure, the concentration of dissolved ions, and the chemical composition of the water all play critical roles in their survival. When a shark enters freshwater, it faces a catastrophic chain reaction inside its body. Water rushes into its cells, disrupting the balance of salts and causing tissues to swell. The kidneys and rectal gland, so perfectly adapted for saltwater, are overwhelmed and unable to cope. The very thing that gives us life, freshwater, becomes a deadly poison to them. Their bodies are simply not equipped to handle the sudden influx of water and the loss of vital salts. This isn't just a simple matter of preference, like some animals preferring the forest and others the plains. It is a hard biological limit enforced by millions of years of evolution in a salty world. It's a fundamental biological barrier written into their DNA. The genetic instructions that build a shark are tailored for life in saltwater, from the molecular structure of their proteins to the way their cells regulate water and ions. The ocean's salty water has shaped every aspect of a shark's anatomy and physiology. Their skin is covered in tiny, tooth-like scales called dermal denticles, which reduce turbulence and protect against parasites, adaptations that work best in the ocean's unique environment. Their gills are specialized to extract oxygen from salt water, and their senses, electroreception, smell and vision, are all fine-tuned to the chemical and physical properties of the sea. Taking them out of that system is like asking a human to breathe underwater. The physiological stress is immediate and severe. Their bodies are simply not equipped for the challenge, and the consequences are swift and severe. Sharks quickly become disoriented, lose their ability to regulate buoyancy, and suffer from organ failure, demonstrating just how specialized these ancient predators truly are. Scientists and marine biologists have spent decades studying these remarkable animals, uncovering the intricate details of their saltwater adaptations and the limits of their survival. The invisible forces at play, osmotic gradients, ion exchange, and the chemistry of life, turn a life-giving river into a death trap for the ocean's top predator. In fresh water, sharks struggle to maintain buoyancy. The loss of salt disrupts the function of their liver, which is filled with oil to help them float, causing them to sink or swim erratically. Their legendary senses, so effective in the ocean, become unreliable. The electrical fields they use to detect prey are distorted, and their vision is hampered by the different light and chemical properties of fresh water. Internally, their organs are overwhelmed. The kidneys cannot keep up with the influx of water, and the rectal gland fails to expel excess salts, leading to a dangerous imbalance that can quickly become fatal. There is, however, one remarkable exception, a species that has evolved unique adaptations to survive in both salt and fresh water. The bull shark stands alone as a master of both worlds, a testament to the power of evolutionary innovation. But before we explore this extraordinary outlier, let's take a closer look at the delicate balance that keeps every shark alive in its saltwater home, and the intricate web of science, ecology, and biology that makes their existence possible. To truly grasp why freshwater environments are so hazardous for most sharks, we need to dive deep into the science of osmoregulation, a fundamental physiological process that governs the internal balance of water and dissolved salts or electrolytes within an organism's body. Osmoregulation is the process by which living creatures maintain the delicate equilibrium of water and solutes, such as sodium, chloride, and other ions, across their cell membranes. For sharks, this is not just a matter of comfort, it's a matter of survival. Imagine a tightrope walker constantly adjusting to stay upright. In the same way, a shark's body is in a perpetual state of adjustment, fine-tuning the movement of water and salts in and out of its cells. Every cell in a shark's body requires a precise concentration of water and electrolytes to function. If this balance is disrupted, cellular processes like nerve signaling, muscle contraction, and metabolism can fail catastrophically. If too much water enters a cell, it swells and can eventually burst due to osmotic pressure, a phenomenon known as lysis. Conversely, if too much water leaves the cell, it shrivels and dehydrates, a process called crenation, leading to cell death. For sharks, which are classified as elasmobranchs, osmoregulation is especially critical. Unlike bony fish, sharks have evolved a unique strategy to survive in the salty ocean. The tissues and blood of a shark are actually slightly more concentrated with solutes than the surrounding seawater. This is achieved by retaining high levels of urea and trimethylamine N-oxide, or TMAO, in their bloodstream. Urea, a nitrogenous waste product, is typically toxic at high concentrations, but sharks have evolved cellular mechanisms and molecular chaperones that protect their proteins from urea's damaging effects. TMAO acts as a stabilizer, counteracting urea's toxicity. Because their internal fluids are slightly saltier than seawater, water from the ocean is constantly diffusing into the shark's body through its semi-permeable gill membranes and skin, a process governed by osmosis. Osmosis is the passive movement of water molecules from an area of lower solute concentration to an area of higher solute concentration, seeking to equalize the concentrations on both sides of a membrane. In the ocean, this means water naturally moves from the less salty seawater into the shark's more concentrated internal fluids. To handle this influx, sharks rely on two main physiological tools: their kidneys and a specialized organ called the rectal gland. The kidneys filter out excess water and some salts, while the rectal gland actively excretes surplus sodium and chloride ions, maintaining internal homeostasis. This system is so finely tuned that, in the stable salinity of the ocean, sharks can maintain their internal environment with remarkable efficiency. The shark's internal saltiness gives it a slight osmotic advantage, allowing it to absorb water passively and avoid dehydration, unlike many marine animals that must drink seawater and actively excrete the excess salt. Sharks do not need to drink water as humans do. Instead, they absorb water directly through their gills and skin in a slow, regulated manner thanks to the osmotic gradient. This adaptation frees up energy for essential activities, hunting, long-distance migration and reproduction, rather than constantly battling dehydration or salt overload. Over millions of years, natural selection has honed this osmoregulatory system, making sharks some of the most efficient and resilient marine predators on the planet. In the ocean, everything is in a state of dynamic equilibrium. The shark's internal chemistry is perfectly matched to its salty environment. However, this highly specialized system becomes a critical vulnerability when a shark enters freshwater. The osmotic gradient is suddenly reversed. In freshwater, the environment outside the shark's body is now much less salty than its internal fluids. Water rushes into the shark's body at a dangerous rate, threatening to dilute its blood and disrupt cellular function. The shark's kidneys and rectal gland, designed for salt excretion, are suddenly overwhelmed. They cannot expel the excess water fast enough, nor can they retain the vital salts being lost. The very adaptations that allow sharks to thrive in the ocean, high internal urea, TMAO, and specialized salt-excreting organs, become liabilities in freshwater, leading to rapid physiological stress and, if exposure continues, death. The intricate dance of osmoregulation, so masterfully performed in the ocean, turns into a desperate struggle for survival the moment a shark crosses into freshwater. Only a few exceptional species have evolved the rare ability to withstand this dramatic shift. Picture a shark gliding effortlessly through the vast, salty expanse of the ocean, its body perfectly attuned to the marine environment. Now imagine this same shark venturing out of its natural saltwater home and into the mouth of a freshwater river. The moment the shark crosses into freshwater, its entire internal world is thrown into chaos. The river water contains only a fraction of the salt found in the ocean, yet the shark's blood, tissues, and every cell are saturated with salts and minerals essential for its survival in the sea. This dramatic difference in salt concentration sets off a relentless process called osmosis. Water from the river, desperate to balance the salt levels, begins to surge into the shark's body through every permeable surface, its gills, its skin, and even the delicate membranes lining its mouth and throat. The gills, which are specialized for extracting oxygen from salty seawater, now become gateways for an uncontrollable flood. Water pours in, overwhelming the shark's ability to regulate its internal environment. The cells lining the gills and skin are especially vulnerable, as they are directly exposed to the fresh water. Inside the shark, the sudden influx of water causes its cells to swell rapidly. Each cell, from the skin to the deepest organs, acts like a tiny balloon filling with water as the external environment tries to dilute the high salt concentration within. This swelling, known as cytolysis, is catastrophic at the cellular level. The cell membranes, unable to withstand the mounting pressure, begin to rupture. As more and more cells burst, the shark's tissues start to break down and organ function is compromised. Externally, the shark may appear bloated and swollen, but the real devastation is happening inside. The destruction of cells leads to tissue damage, and the organs, heart, liver, kidneys, begin to fail as their cellular building blocks are destroyed. The kidneys, which in the ocean are responsible for excreting excess salt and conserving water, are now faced with an impossible task. They must expel vast amounts of fresh water, but they are not equipped for this reversal. The filtration structures within the kidneys become overwhelmed and waste products begin to accumulate in the blood. Simultaneously, another deadly process unfolds. As water rushes in, the vital salts and minerals inside the shark's body begin to diffuse out into the surrounding fresh water. Sodium, potassium, calcium, and other electrolytes essential for nerve impulses and muscle contractions are lost through the gills and skin. The shark's internal chemistry is thrown into disarray. Without these minerals, the shark's muscles, including the powerful muscles that drive its swimming, begin to malfunction. Nerve signals become erratic, and the shark loses coordination and strength. The heart, which relies on precise electrical signals to beat, is especially vulnerable. As salt levels drop, the heart's rhythm falters, and circulation becomes sluggish. The shark's ability to swim, hunt, and even breathe is compromised. The animal becomes weak, disoriented, and unable to navigate. Its movements slow, and it may swim in circles or float listlessly, unable to respond to its surroundings. Internally, the shark is drowning from the inside out. Its cells are bursting. Its organs are shutting down, and the loss of essential salts is causing a total collapse of its internal systems. The body's delicate balance, its homeostasis, is irreparably disrupted. This physiological disaster is why most sharks cannot survive more than a few hours, or at best a day, in pure fresh water. The combined effects of water influx, salt loss, and organ failure are simply too much for their bodies to handle. Sharks are exquisitely adapted to the high-salt environment of the ocean. Their bodies have evolved over millions of years to maintain a precise internal balance, but this specialization leaves them defenseless in the face of freshwater's challenges. The very features that make sharks apex predators in the sea, efficient salt retention, powerful muscles and sensitive nerves, become fatal weaknesses when exposed to fresh water. Ultimately, the shark's own biology turns against it. As organs fail and energy reserves are depleted, the animal succumbs to the relentless assault of its new environment. This dramatic struggle is a powerful reminder that even the most formidable creatures on Earth are finely tuned to their habitats, and that a change in environment can bring even the mightiest to their limits. When a shark enters fresh water, it faces a monumental challenge that goes far beyond just finding food or avoiding predators. The real battle is against gravity itself, specifically the struggle to stay afloat in an environment that is fundamentally different from the ocean it evolved to master. Most bony fish have a remarkable adaptation called a swim bladder. This internal gas-filled sac acts like a precision-controlled balloon, allowing them to adjust their buoyancy with ease. By inflating or deflating the swim bladder, these fish can rise or sink in the water column almost effortlessly, maintaining perfect balance and conserving energy. Sharks, however, are cartilaginous fish and lack this swim bladder entirely. Instead, they have evolved a completely different set of adaptations to manage their buoyancy and maintain their position in the water. The most significant adaptation is their enormous oil-rich liver. This organ is not only massive, sometimes accounting for up to a quarter of the shark's total body weight, but it is also packed with special oils called squalene, which are much less dense than water. The liver's sheer size and the low density of its oils provide a crucial source of buoyancy, acting almost like a natural life vest. This adaptation is so effective that it allows sharks to maintain their depth and stability in the ocean's dense, salty waters. In salt water, which is denser than fresh water, the upward force of buoyancy is strong. The combination of the shark's oily liver and the supportive saltwater environment means that sharks can float and glide with minimal effort, conserving energy for hunting and migration. This system is a masterpiece of evolutionary engineering. In the ocean, sharks move with a grace and efficiency that is unmatched, their bodies perfectly balanced between sinking and floating. The dense salt water provides a significant upward push known as buoyancy, which counteracts the force of gravity pulling the shark downward. In addition to their liver, sharks use their large wing-like pectoral fins to generate lift as they swim. These fins act much like the wings of an airplane, creating upward force as water flows over them, further helping the shark to stay suspended in the water column. The combination of the liver's buoyancy and the lift from the pectoral fins allows sharks to float almost effortlessly, maintaining a steady position without constant movement. This means that in their natural saltwater habitat, sharks can cruise for long distances, hover in place and launch sudden bursts of speed when needed, all while using minimal energy. When it's time to hunt, sharks can hang motionless in the water, waiting for the perfect moment to strike or accelerate rapidly to chase down agile prey. Their entire physiology is tuned for this balance of power and efficiency. Every aspect of a shark's body, from its streamlined shape to its internal organs, is optimized for life in the dense, supportive medium of the ocean. But when a shark enters freshwater, everything changes. Freshwater is much less dense than saltwater, providing far less buoyant force to counteract gravity. In this environment, objects and animals sink much more easily. The upward push that once supported the shark's weight is dramatically reduced. For a shark, entering a river is like suddenly having a heavy weight attached to its body. The adaptations that work so well in the ocean are no longer enough to keep it afloat. The buoyancy provided by its oily liver is now insufficient. The shark begins to sink, forced to fight against gravity with every movement. To avoid sinking to the bottom, the shark must swim constantly, working its muscles much harder than it would in the ocean. This relentless effort burns through the shark's energy reserves at an alarming rate. Every second spent fighting gravity is energy that cannot be used for hunting, healing, or escaping danger. Scientific estimates suggest that a shark in fresh water must expend up to 50% more energy just to keep from sinking. This is a staggering increase, and it quickly leads to exhaustion. The constant battle against gravity, combined with the stress of maintaining internal salt balance, puts the shark under extreme physiological strain. The energy that should be used to regulate its internal environment and recover from exertion is instead wasted in a desperate struggle to stay off the riverbed. As fatigue sets in, the shark's movements become sluggish and uncoordinated. It loses the agility and speed that are its greatest assets. In this weakened state, the shark is unable to pursue prey effectively. Its hunting strategy, which relies on bursts of speed and surprise, is rendered useless. The shark becomes vulnerable, unable to chase down food or escape threats. It is left stationary as smaller fish swim by unchallenged. Ultimately, the battle for buoyancy in fresh water is one that most sharks are simply not equipped to win. Their remarkable adaptations for life in the ocean become liabilities, and gravity becomes an inescapable adversary. Sharks are not just apex predators because of their teeth or speed. What truly sets them apart is a remarkable, almost otherworldly ability, a sixth sense known as electroreception. This sense is a biological marvel, giving sharks a unique window into the hidden electrical world beneath the waves. Along the surface of a shark's snout and head, you'll find a network of tiny jelly-filled pores called the ampullae of Lorenzini. These specialized organs are packed with a conductive gel, and each pore is connected to a bundle of sensory cells that are exquisitely sensitive to electrical changes in the environment. Every living creature, from the smallest fish to the largest whale, generates faint electrical fields as their muscles contract and nerves fire. The ampullae of Lorenzini allow sharks to detect these minuscule signals, even when they are buried beneath sand or hidden in darkness. For example, a fish hiding motionless under a thick layer of sand cannot mask the tiny electrical pulses produced by its beating heart. The shark's electroreceptors can pick up these signals, pinpointing the exact location of hidden prey with astonishing accuracy. This sixth sense is not just for hunting. Sharks use electroreception to navigate the vast featureless expanses of the ocean, detecting the Earth's magnetic field and using it as a natural compass. They can also sense the electrical fields produced by other sharks, which plays a crucial role in social interactions, mating and establishing dominance. The reason this system works so well in the ocean is because salt water is an excellent conductor of electricity. The high concentration of dissolved salt ions, mainly sodium and chloride, creates a medium where electrical signals can travel efficiently and with minimal loss. These ions act like countless microscopic wires, carrying the weak electrical signals from prey, other sharks, and even the planet itself directly to the shark's sensitive pores. The ocean, for a shark, is alive with a constant, invisible flow of information. In this environment, a shark's world is a vibrant tapestry of electrical cues. It can sense the agitation of a school of fish, the approach of a rival, or the subtle signals of a potential mate, all through this extraordinary sense. The sixth sense allows sharks to react instantly to the panic of prey, to coordinate with others, and to avoid threats. It's as if they possess a built-in fish finder, a natural GPS, and a social network, all seamlessly integrated into their biology. This sense is absolutely fundamental to their survival and success as ocean predators. Without it, their ability to hunt, navigate, and interact would be severely compromised. But what happens when a shark leaves the ocean and enters a river where the water is fresh and the salt content is dramatically lower? The moment a shark crosses into fresh water, its sixth sense is effectively switched off. The biological machinery is still there, but the environment has changed in a way that renders it almost useless. Fresh water lacks the high concentration of salt ions found in the sea. As a result, it is a very poor conductor of electricity. The weak electrical fields produced by prey dissipate rapidly, unable to travel far through the water. In this environment, the electrical signals that sharks rely on become faint, scattered, and almost impossible to detect. The shark's electroreceptors, so finely tuned for the ocean, are left with little or nothing to sense. Imagine trying to listen for a whisper in the middle of a deafening rock concert. The background noise of the river, turbulence, debris, and the lack of conductive ions overwhelms the delicate signals the shark is searching for. The result is sensory chaos. The shark's sixth sense is drowned out, the signal lost in a sea of noise and interference. Suddenly the shark is forced to rely on its other senses, sight and smell, but in the murky, debris-filled waters of a river, even these senses are compromised. Visibility is poor, and chemical cues are diluted or masked by the unfamiliar environment. This loss of sensory input is devastating. The shark is left disoriented, unable to hunt effectively, and cut off from the rich world of information it once relied on. Without the ability to detect prey, a shark in freshwater faces starvation. Its finely tuned hunting strategies are rendered useless, and it must expend more energy searching for food that it may never find. The loss of electroreception also means the shark can no longer navigate using the Earth's magnetic field. Many shark species undertake long migrations, guided by this internal compass. In freshwater, this sense is gone, leaving the shark lost and directionless. The biological basis for these epic journeys is tied directly to the electroreceptors in the ampullae of Lorenzini. When these are rendered ineffective, the shark's ability to find its way is severely impaired. In a river, the shark may circle aimlessly, unable to orient itself or locate familiar migration routes. Disorientation sets in, and the animal's survival is put at further risk. Social communication, too, breaks down. Sharks use subtle electrical cues to recognize each other, establish hierarchies, and coordinate during feeding or mating. In freshwater, these signals are lost, and the shark is cut off from its peers. The inability to read these cues means the shark cannot participate in social behaviors that are vital for reproduction and survival. It becomes isolated, unable to find mates or assert dominance. Ultimately, the loss of the sixth sense in freshwater leaves the shark stranded in a silent, featureless world, alone, confused, and stripped of the extraordinary abilities that once made it a master of the ocean. The phenomenon of marine sharks becoming stranded in freshwater is not just a theoretical curiosity. It's a documented reality, with several dramatic and tragic cases recorded around the world. These stories not only highlight the vulnerability of these apex predators, but also serve as living laboratories for scientists seeking to understand the limits of shark physiology and the unforgiving nature of biological boundaries. Each incident of a marine shark found in freshwater is a stark, real-world reminder of the biological and environmental barriers that separate ocean from river. These barriers are not just lines on a map, they are thresholds that, when crossed, can mean life or death for a shark. Take, for example, the remarkable case from September 2020 in Vietnam. Early one morning, local villagers gathered in disbelief along the banks of the Ben Hai River. There, in the shallow, muddy water, an 8-foot-long blue shark thrashed helplessly, its powerful body unsuited for the river's low salinity and shifting currents. The scene quickly drew a crowd, with many onlookers never having seen such a creature outside of the open sea. Despite the efforts of several men who waded into the water to try and guide the shark back toward deeper, saltier water, the animal's distress was obvious. Its body became swollen, a clear sign of osmotic imbalance as freshwater flooded its tissues. Disoriented and unable to navigate, the shark's powerful muscles, built for the open ocean, were rendered useless in the alien environment. Tragically, the blue shark succumbed within hours. Its death was a direct result of its body's inability to regulate salt and water in the freshwater environment, a process known as osmoregulation. Marine sharks are highly specialized for life in saltwater, and when placed in freshwater, their cells absorb water uncontrollably, leading to swelling, organ failure, and, ultimately, death. What made this event even more shocking was that it was not the first time such a tragedy had occurred in that very stretch of river. Local news crews documented the event, and some residents recalled a similar incident years prior, suggesting a recurring pattern of marine sharks becoming fatally disoriented and entering the river. Another extraordinary case unfolded in 2022, this time in South Africa's Kuurboom's River. An 11-foot great white shark, one of the ocean's most formidable predators, was spotted gliding through the calm, brackish waters of the river. The sight was so unusual that it immediately drew the attention of local authorities and marine biologists. The National Sea Rescue Institute responded swiftly, dispatching a team to monitor the shark and ensure public safety. Observers noted the shark's sluggish movements and apparent confusion, a stark contrast to the confident, purposeful swimming seen in healthy great whites patrolling the open ocean. Marine experts speculated that the shark was likely already suffering from illness or disorientation before it entered the river. In some cases, neurological disorders, injuries, or even parasitic infections can disrupt a shark's navigation abilities, causing it to stray far from its natural habitat. The fact that this great white was found so far from the ocean was a clear indicator that something had gone terribly wrong. The river's freshwater environment would have quickly begun to compromise the shark's health, leading to a rapid decline. In these situations, the sharks are not exploring new territory or seeking food. Instead, they are engaged in a desperate, losing battle for survival. Their bodies, so perfectly adapted for the saltwater world, become their greatest liability in freshwater. Even smaller species are not immune to this fate. Juvenile sharks, which may be more prone to straying into unfamiliar waters, can also become stranded and suffer the same physiological consequences. In the summer of 2022, a 3-foot smoothhound shark was observed in the River Stour in Essex, England. The sighting caused a stir among local anglers and naturalists who watched as the small shark navigated the brackish tidal section of the river. Although this part of the river is influenced by the tides and contains some salt water, it is still an unusual and risky place for a marine shark. The further the animal ventured from the sea, the greater the danger it faced. The smoothhound was far from its typical coastal hunting grounds, and its presence in the river was a sign of disorientation or perhaps a failed attempt to follow prey. Each of these stories, whether involving a massive great white or a small smoothhound, paints a vivid picture. A magnificent marine predator, evolved over millions of years for life in the ocean, suddenly finds itself in a hostile environment where its own biology becomes its greatest enemy. These cases are powerful symbols of the critical importance of habitat for survival. The ocean is not just a home for these animals, it is a finely tuned environment that their bodies depend on for every aspect of life. Occasionally, stories of stranded sharks take on a bizarre twist, capturing the imagination of scientists and the public alike. In 2023, a salmon shark was discovered washed up on the banks of the Salmon River in Idaho, a landlocked state hundreds of miles from the nearest ocean. The find baffled local residents and quickly made headlines as the presence of a marine shark so far inland seemed impossible. The Idaho Department of Fish and Game launched an investigation, examining the carcass and the surrounding area. After careful analysis, officials determined that the shark had not arrived in the river on its own. Evidence suggested that someone had caught the shark in the ocean, transported it inland, and placed it on the riverbank as a prank or hoax. The case, while not a true example of a stranded shark, underscored the public's fascination with the idea of marine animals appearing in impossible places. This incident also served as a stark reminder of the sheer impossibility of a marine shark traveling such a vast distance inland on its own. The physical and biological barriers are simply insurmountable. In the end, the boundaries that separate ocean from river are as real and impassable as a concrete dam. For marine sharks, crossing into freshwater is not an adventure. It is a fatal mistake, one that science continues to study in hopes of better understanding the delicate balance of life in our planet's waters. Just when you think you have the rules of nature figured out, an animal comes along that breaks them all. In the world of sharks, that rule breaker is the bull shark, a true marvel of evolutionary engineering. Unlike most of its ocean-dwelling relatives, the bull shark is uniquely equipped to conquer both saltwater and freshwater environments. This remarkable predator is one of the very few shark species on the planet that can not only survive in freshwater, but actively thrive in it, making it a true outlier among its kin. The bull shark's ability to inhabit freshwater rivers is not just a quirk, it's a testament to its extraordinary adaptability. These sharks have been found thousands of miles up freshwater rivers, from the vast Amazon in South America to the mighty Mississippi River in the United States, where they've been spotted as far north as Illinois. Their range is a testament to their resilience and versatility. To accomplish this, the bull shark relies on a suite of specialized physiological adaptations. It is the exception that proves the rule, showcasing an incredible and rare evolutionary adaptation that allows it to move seamlessly between two drastically different worlds. So how does the bull shark pull off this feat? The answer lies deep within its biology. The bull shark possesses a remarkable ability to alter its own body chemistry, a process known as osmoregulation. This allows it to maintain the delicate balance of salts and water inside its body, no matter the environment. When a bull shark transitions from the salty ocean to a freshwater river, it triggers a dramatic physiological shift. Its kidneys and rectal gland, which normally work to excrete excess salt, switch into a new mode of operation. In fresh water, these organs begin to work overtime to recycle and retain the precious salts already in the shark's body. At the same time, the kidneys start producing huge amounts of dilute urine, up to 20 times more than when the shark is in the ocean. This process allows the bull shark to flush out the massive influx of fresh water without losing its vital salts, a balancing act that is both complex and energy-intensive. The gills also play a crucial role, adjusting their permeability to minimize salt loss and maximize water expulsion. This intricate system of internal regulation is what enables the bull shark to survive in environments that would quickly kill most other sharks. But this adaptation comes at a cost. The process of osmoregulation is extremely energy-intensive. The bull shark must burn a significant amount of calories to keep its internal systems balanced in a freshwater environment, which is likely why this ability is so rare among sharks. Despite the energy demands, the bull shark's unique physiology gives it access to habitats and resources that are off-limits to most other sharks. Rivers can serve as safer nurseries for their young, protecting them from larger ocean predators and providing a relatively sheltered environment for growth. In these freshwater environments, bull sharks also gain access to a whole new menu of food sources, including fish, crustaceans, and even the occasional bird or mammal that ventures too close to the water's edge. With far less competition from other sharks, the bull shark can dominate these riverine ecosystems. The bull shark's hunting behavior in freshwater is just as impressive as its physiological adaptations. It uses bursts of speed and powerful jaws to ambush prey in the often turbid waters of rivers, relying on keen senses to detect movement and vibrations. Its robust, muscular body is built for sudden acceleration, allowing it to chase down agile prey in confined spaces. The bull shark's teeth are broad and serrated, perfect for gripping and tearing a wide variety of prey. The bull shark's behavior is also shaped by its environment. In murky rivers, it relies heavily on electroreception, specialized organs that detect the faint electrical fields produced by living creatures. This sense allows the bull shark to hunt effectively even when visibility is low. The ability to exploit both saltwater and freshwater habitats gives the bull shark a unique edge, but it also means the shark must constantly adapt to changing conditions. This is likely why the bull shark is considered a jack of all trades, but perhaps not a master of any single environment. The evolutionary cost of maintaining such versatility is still a subject of research. Biologists believe that the energy required to maintain this dual capability might mean bull sharks are slightly less efficient in a purely marine environment compared to specialists like the great white, yet for the bull shark the rewards are clear. Rivers provide a refuge for their young, abundant food, and a chance to escape the intense competition and predation of the open ocean. The adults, meanwhile, can exploit new food sources and territories, expanding their range and increasing their chances of survival. However, this unique superpower isn't without its trade-offs. While bull sharks are masters of both worlds, they may not be the absolute best in either one. The exact evolutionary cost is still being studied, but it helps explain why bull sharks haven't simply taken over every coastal waterway on the planet. Their ability is an amazing compromise, not a universal advantage. The bull shark stands as a testament to the power of adaptation, thriving where few others can, and reminding us that in nature survival often belongs to the most versatile. Whether patrolling the murky depths of a river or cruising the open sea, the bull shark is a living example of nature's ingenuity, an indomitable survivor, perfectly suited to a life between worlds. The story of the bull shark is still being written, as scientists continue to uncover the secrets behind its unique lifestyle and adaptations. For now, the bull shark remains one of the most fascinating and resilient creatures in the animal kingdom, a true master of adaptation, thriving in places where few others dare to swim. The biological barrier between freshwater and saltwater is a two-way street. Just as a marine shark is doomed in a river, a freshwater animal faces an equally grim fate if it ends up in the ocean. The principle is the same, osmoregulation. But the process is reversed. A freshwater fish, for example, has a body that is much saltier than the river water it lives in. Its body is designed to constantly pump out the water that seeps in and hang on to the small amount of salt it can get from its food and the water. Its whole system is built for a low-salt environment. If that freshwater fish is suddenly thrown into the ocean, the high-salt seawater creates a powerful osmotic pressure. But this time, instead of water flooding in, it is rapidly sucked out of the fish's body. The ocean literally pulls the water from the fish's cells, leaving them to shrivel and collapse. The fish suffers from severe, acute dehydration. Its kidneys are completely unequipped to handle the massive amount of salt it's now taking in. Just like the shark in the river, the freshwater fish in the ocean experiences catastrophic organ failure and will die very quickly. This isn't just a problem for fish. We see this tragic scenario play out with other large marine animals that occasionally get trapped in fresh water. In 2007, two humpback whales, affectionately named Delta and Dawn, spent 10 days in the fresh water of the Sacramento River. Observers noted their skin started to look pitted and unhealthy. Salt water has natural antiseptic qualities and helps keep their skin healthy. Without it, wounds don't heal properly and infections can set in. The whales also showed signs of stress and starvation as their food source, krill and small fish, doesn't exist in rivers. A similar story involved a young bottlenose dolphin that became stuck in a freshwater lake in Alabama in 2016. It survived for over a month, but not without consequences. The prolonged exposure to freshwater caused it to develop painful skin lesions and severe swelling in its corneas, which damaged its eyesight. Although it was eventually rescued, its impaired vision may have contributed to its later death. These examples from whales and dolphins powerfully illustrate that even for air-breathing mammals, the saltwater environment is essential for their long-term health and well-being. Salmon are another fascinating example of creatures that navigate both freshwater and saltwater environments. Born in freshwater streams, they migrate to the ocean where they spend most of their adult lives. Their bodies undergo significant physiological changes to adapt to the high salinity of the ocean. When it's time to spawn, they return to their freshwater birthplaces, reversing these changes to survive the low-salt environment. This remarkable adaptability is a testament to the complex interplay between freshwater and saltwater ecosystems. Estuaries, where rivers meet the sea, are unique environments that support a diverse array of life forms. These areas are rich in nutrients and provide critical habitats for many species, including migratory birds, crabs and shellfish. Mangroves, with their complex root systems, offer shelter and breeding grounds for fish and other marine life. These ecosystems act as natural buffers, protecting coastlines from erosion and providing a transition zone for species that move between freshwater and saltwater. The dynamic interactions in these zones highlight the delicate balance required for the survival of various species. Understanding these interactions is crucial for conservation efforts, as the health of these ecosystems directly impacts the biodiversity and resilience of our planet's aquatic life. The dramatic struggle of a shark in freshwater is more than just a spectacle. It's a window into the delicate balance of nature and the remarkable adaptations that have allowed sharks to survive for hundreds of millions of years. This struggle tells us something profound about these incredible animals, revealing the intricate relationship between sharks and the environments they inhabit. Sharks are not just generic, indestructible killing machines as they are often portrayed. Instead, they are highly specialized creatures, each species uniquely adapted to its own ecological niche. Their bodies, behaviors, and even their senses have been finely tuned by millions of years of evolution, making them masters of their domain. The saltwater ocean. The ocean is not just a backdrop for their lives, it is the very foundation of their existence. Every aspect of a shark's physiology, from the way their cells function to the way they perceive the world, is intricately linked to the chemistry and rhythms of the sea. Their gills are designed to extract oxygen from saltwater. Their skin is built to withstand the ocean's currents, and their senses are attuned to the unique signals of the marine world. Even the smallest changes in the ocean's chemistry can have profound effects on their health and survival. When a shark finds itself in fresh water, its vulnerability is not a sign of weakness, but a testament to just how perfectly adapted it is to its true home. Their inability to thrive outside the ocean highlights the precision of their evolutionary design. Understanding this helps us appreciate sharks on a whole new level, not as monsters, but as vital, irreplaceable parts of the marine ecosystem. This knowledge underscores the critical importance of habitat conservation. The health of the ocean is directly tied to the survival of sharks and countless other marine species. A shark's survival depends entirely on the health of the ocean. When the ocean thrives, sharks thrive. When the ocean suffers, so do they. Pollution, overfishing that depletes their food sources, and the destruction of critical habitats like coral reefs and mangroves threaten their existence. Changes in ocean chemistry, such as acidification and warming, can be just as deadly as stranding a shark in a river. Only the effects are slower and more widespread. Coral bleaching, habitat loss, and declining water quality are silent killers, eroding the foundation of the marine ecosystem over time. When we protect the oceans by reducing pollution, establishing marine reserves, and supporting sustainable fishing practices, we are safeguarding the delicate balance that allows sharks and countless other species to thrive. These ancient predators play a crucial role in maintaining the health of marine ecosystems, keeping populations in check and ensuring biodiversity. The ocean may seem vast and eternal, but it is not invulnerable. Its health is fragile, and the line between a thriving habitat and a hostile one can be surprisingly thin. The meeting point of saltwater and freshwater is a powerful reminder of how easily the balance can be disrupted. Even a subtle shift in salinity or temperature can mean the difference between life and death for a shark. The bull shark stands as a fascinating outlier, a marvel of evolutionary adaptability, able to survive in both salt and fresh water. Its unique physiology allows it to regulate its internal salt levels, a feat that most sharks cannot achieve. The bull shark's ability to navigate both worlds is a reminder that nature is full of surprises, but also that such adaptability is rare and comes at a high biological cost. Its rarity highlights the immense challenge of living in two drastically different environments and the energy required to do so. Out of over 500 shark species, only a handful have managed this feat, underscoring the fundamental divide between freshwater and saltwater habitats. This divide is one of the most basic and important in the aquatic world, shaping the lives and destinies of countless species. The transition from salt to fresh water is a barrier that only the most specialized creatures can cross. The bull shark's strategy is a high-energy, high-cost solution to a problem that most sharks could never solve. For most sharks, the ocean is not just a preference, it is a necessity for survival. Ultimately, a shark belongs in the ocean, where its story began and where it continues to unfold. The ocean is the cradle of shark evolution, the stage for their incredible diversity and resilience. Sharks are not monsters to be feared, but vital components of the marine ecosystem, playing roles that no other animals can fill. They help maintain the balance of marine life, keeping populations healthy and ecosystems stable. Every movement, every hunt, every interaction is shaped and defined by the salty water they call home. By understanding the science that governs their lives, we can move past the myths and misconceptions that have long surrounded sharks. We can see them for what they truly are. Magnificent survivors, perfectly designed for their world and essential to the health of the oceans. Their power and grace are the result of millions of years of adaptation, and their continued survival depends on our willingness to protect their home. The ocean is a world of wonder and mystery, and it is worth every effort to protect, not just for sharks, but for all life on Earth. By ensuring the health of the seas, we give these kings of the ocean the chance to continue their reign for another 400 million years, preserving the balance and beauty of our blue planet for generations to come. As we look deeper into the story of sharks, a new chapter unfolds, a journey millions of years in the making. The evolutionary history of sharks is marked not just by their adaptation to the open ocean, but by their occasional, remarkable encounters with waters of varying salinity. Fossil records reveal that ancient sharks emerged over 400 million years ago, long before the first trees took root on land. In those primordial seas, the chemistry of the water was in constant flux. Early sharks, like their jawless ancestors, had to contend with shifting salinity as continents formed, seas receded, and new waterways appeared. Their bodies began to develop specialized structures to maintain internal balance, a process known as osmoregulation. Over time, most shark lineages became finely attuned to the stable salinity of the world's oceans. Their gills, kidneys, and even the microscopic composition of their cells evolved to conserve precious salts and expel excess water. Urea, a compound often associated with waste, became a vital molecule in their blood, allowing sharks to match the osmotic pressure of seawater and avoid dehydration. This adaptation cemented their dominance in marine environments. Yet nature is never static. As rivers carved new paths and ancient seas transformed into freshwater lakes, some shark species faced a new challenge: the boundary between salt and freshwater. Only a select few, like the bull shark, evolved the ability to thrive in both realms. Scientific studies show that these sharks possess unique genetic and physiological mechanisms, enabling their kidneys to switch modes and either conserve or excrete salt as needed. This flexibility is rare and energetically costly, but it has allowed these exceptional sharks to exploit habitats inaccessible to their relatives. The evolutionary arms race between environment and organism continues to this day. For most sharks, the ocean's salinity remains a constant, a defining feature of their very existence. But in the story of shark evolution, the rare ability to tolerate multiple salinities stands as a testament to the power and limits of adaptation. Understanding this evolutionary journey not only highlights the intricate science behind shark survival, but also deepens our appreciation of their place in the world's aquatic tapestry. From the ancient seas to the dynamic coasts and river mouths of today, sharks have continually navigated the ever-changing boundaries of their watery world. As our planet warms and sea levels rise, the ancient relationship between sharks and their environment is entering uncharted territory. Climate change is not just raising ocean temperatures, it's redrawing the very borders between saltwater and freshwater, altering the delicate balance that has shaped shark evolution for millions of years. Across the globe, melting glaciers and stronger storms are sending more fresh water rushing into coastal seas. In places where rivers meet the ocean, the influx of fresh water can dramatically lower salinity, creating vast brackish zones where salt and fresh water mix. For sharks that depend on stable salinity, these changes can disrupt migration routes, breeding grounds, and feeding habitats. Scientific studies reveal that some species, like the adaptable bull shark, may find new opportunities in these shifting environments, venturing farther upriver or into newly formed estuaries. But for most sharks, whose bodies are finely tuned to the chemistry of the open ocean, the changing salinity poses a serious threat. Altered water composition can stress their osmoregulatory systems, making it harder to maintain internal balance, hunt effectively, or even survive. Warming waters can also shift the distribution of prey and predators alike, forcing sharks to migrate to unfamiliar territories in search of food. In some regions, rising temperatures have already pushed certain shark species into areas where they have never been recorded before. These migrations can lead to unexpected encounters with human populations, as well as new ecological challenges. Ocean acidification, a direct result of increased carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, further complicates the picture. Changes in pH levels can impact the availability of prey and the health of critical habitats like coral reefs and mangroves. For sharks that rely on these ecosystems, the cascading effects can be profound. The story of sharks has always been one of adaptation, but the pace and scale of today's changes are unprecedented. As climate change accelerates, the boundaries between saltwater and freshwater will continue to blur, testing the limits of even the most resilient species. Understanding how climate change reshapes shark migration and survival is essential, not just for the future of these remarkable animals, but for the balance of entire aquatic ecosystems. The challenges are immense, but so too is the capacity for adaptation. The next chapter in the story of sharks is being written right now in the ever-shifting waters of a changing world. When sharks venture into freshwater, they become more than just survivors. They emerge as vital players in complex living networks. In rivers, lakes, and estuaries, sharks often occupy the top of the food web, shaping the ecosystem in subtle yet powerful ways. Unlike their oceanic relatives, freshwater sharks and their kin interact with a different cast of characters: catfish, tilapia, crustaceans, and even the occasional amphibian. Each encounter ripples through the system. By preying on a variety of fish and invertebrates, sharks help regulate populations that might otherwise explode unchecked. This natural control maintains balance, preventing any one species from dominating and depleting shared resources. The presence of sharks can even influence the behavior of other animals, forcing prey to change feeding patterns or seek shelter, which in turn affects plant growth and water quality. Consider the bull shark, a master of adaptation. Its journeys up rivers are not just tales of endurance, they are acts that shape entire ecosystems. By feeding on both native and invasive species, bull sharks can limit the spread of harmful newcomers, helping to preserve the integrity of the freshwater environment. In some cases, their presence has been linked to healthier, more diverse communities of fish and aquatic plants. Yet the role of sharks in freshwater is delicate. Changes in water chemistry, overfishing, and habitat loss can disrupt these intricate food webs. When sharks disappear, the effects cascade downward. Prey populations may surge, algae blooms can follow, and the very fabric of the ecosystem begins to unravel. Through their unique position at the top, sharks act as guardians of balance, connecting the fates of countless creatures in the freshwater world. Their story is a reminder: in nature, every link matters, and the loss of one can reshape the destiny of all. Well, what allows certain sharks to cross the invisible boundary between saltwater and freshwater? The answer lies deep within their DNA, a genetic blueprint finely tuned by millions of years of evolution. Unlike most oceanic sharks, species such as the bull shark possess a unique set of genes that regulate the movement of salts and water at the cellular level. At the heart of this adaptation are special proteins called ion transporters. These microscopic gatekeepers are embedded in the cells of the shark's gills and kidneys, working tirelessly to control the flow of sodium chloride and other ions. In salty ocean water, these proteins help expel excess salts. But when a shark enters freshwater, the same proteins shift gears, conserving precious salts and preventing the body from becoming dangerously diluted. Genetic studies have revealed that sharks capable of surviving in freshwater environments often express higher levels of certain transporters like the Na+/K+ ATPase pump compared to their strictly marine cousins. This enzyme acts like a molecular engine, driving the exchange of ions to maintain balance no matter how drastic the change in surroundings. Researchers have also identified genes responsible for producing urea, a compound sharks use to keep their internal fluids balanced with the water outside. In freshwater, these genes adjust, reducing urea production to prevent harmful buildup inside the shark's body. By unlocking the secrets of the shark genome, scientists are beginning to understand how these ancient predators have mastered the art of osmoregulation. It's a story written in code, one that continues to shape the destiny of sharks as they navigate the shifting boundaries between worlds. Throughout history, the enigma of sharks thriving in freshwater has captivated the scientific imagination. Driven by curiosity and a thirst for discovery, intrepid explorers have ventured into uncharted rivers and remote lakes, determined to unravel the mysteries lurking beneath the surface. One of the earliest and most notable expeditions took place along the Amazon River in the early 20th century. Here, teams of biologists and naturalists navigated winding tributaries, documenting the elusive presence of the Amazon River shark. Armed with nets, field journals, and a pioneering spirit, these researchers logged the first scientific observations of sharks far from the ocean, challenging the long-held belief that these predators belonged solely to saltwater realms. Decades later, the focus shifted to the brackish rivers of Central America and Africa. Here, researchers set up observation stations and used acoustic tagging to follow the movements of bull sharks as they navigated between freshwater and marine habitats. These expeditions provided invaluable data on migratory patterns, revealing how these sharks adapted their physiology in real time to cope with ever-changing salinity. In Australia, a renowned expedition along the Fitzroy River brought together a team of marine biologists and local experts. Their mission to track the legendary river sharks rumoured to patrol the muddy waters. Through painstaking efforts, the team captured and released several specimens, collecting tissue samples and monitoring their health. Their findings not only confirmed the presence of true river-dwelling sharks, but also highlighted the importance of these unique populations in the broader ecosystem. Today, freshwater shark expeditions continue, now equipped with advanced technology, satellite tracking, genetic sequencing, and underwater drones. Each journey deepens our understanding of how sharks conquer new frontiers, adapt to diverse habitats, and survive against the odds. These scientific quests remind us that the world of sharks is far richer and more complex than we ever imagined, and that the spirit of exploration still has many rivers left to chart. Sharks, whether patrolling the vast blue oceans or gliding through winding rivers, face a gauntlet of dangers in our modern world. In saltwater realms, overfishing remains the most pressing threat. Targeted for their fins, meat, and even cartilage, millions of sharks are hauled from the sea each year, pushing some species to the brink of extinction. Bycatch, the unintentional capture of sharks in nets meant for other fish, further accelerates their decline. Pollution adds another layer of peril. Plastic debris drifts through the currents, entangling fins and clogging digestive tracts. Toxic chemicals like heavy metals and industrial runoff accumulate in shark tissues, weakening immune systems and disrupting reproduction. Yet the rivers and lakes that shelter freshwater sharks offer no true refuge. Here, habitat destruction is a constant menace. Dams and water diversions fragment river systems, cutting off migration routes and isolating vital breeding grounds. Agricultural runoff chokes waterways with pesticides and fertilizers, degrading water quality and threatening the delicate balance sharks depend on. Illegal and unregulated fishing in freshwater habitats often goes unnoticed, silently depleting populations before scientists can even document their existence. Even climate change, with its unpredictable floods and droughts, alters river flows and salinity, further stressing these resilient survivors. Despite their evolutionary prowess, sharks now face challenges that evolution never prepared them for. Their future depends not only on their remarkable adaptations, but on the choices made by those who share their waters. As we confront these threats, the fate of both freshwater and saltwater sharks hangs in the balance, reminding us that the survival of these ancient guardians is inseparably linked to the health of our planet. As the challenges facing sharks intensify, the scientific community is turning its gaze toward the uncharted frontier of freshwater adaptation. Cutting-edge research teams are deploying satellite tags and environmental DNA sampling to track the elusive journeys of sharks that venture far from the ocean's reach. With every new data point, our understanding of how sharks regulate their bodies in ever-changing freshwater environments grows sharper. Experts predict that ongoing advances in genomics will soon unlock the genetic secrets behind sharks' remarkable resilience. By comparing DNA from saltwater and freshwater populations, scientists are beginning to identify the specific genes responsible for osmoregulation, stress tolerance, and immune function. The hope is that these discoveries will not only reveal how sharks have survived past changes in their habitats, but also how they might continue to adapt as rivers and lakes transform in a warming world. Machine learning and artificial intelligence are being harnessed to model future scenarios, predicting how shifts in climate, pollution, and water management might impact shark populations. These forecasts are critical for designing conservation strategies that can keep pace with a rapidly changing planet. In the coming years, international collaborations and technological breakthroughs promise to illuminate the hidden lives of freshwater sharks as never before. The future of shark research is a race against time, driven by the urgent need to protect these ancient survivors. By unraveling the mysteries of their adaptability, science is laying the groundwork for a new era of coexistence, one in which sharks and humans can thrive together in the world's rivers, lakes, and beyond.